43900 had night vision, right?
Yes, he does, and you actually have your infrared eye.
Right. I forgot about that.
Although that's for heat sources specifically.
Okay.
And so, yes, he does.
I'd like to keep him in the back if something comes from behind us.
Mm-hmm. The two of you probably hook in telepathically a little stronger than the others. If you are in the front, and going with him, he'll hang back here. The two of you are setting up the whole tactical, array. But the worry about ammunition is very strong. Your blasters need recharging badly.
So we'll probably search or ask people to keep an eye on if there is something.
Right. And so, how about the rest of you?
Probably trying to find another of those suits that fits me.
No, you are too small.
I can realize that's probably
you kind of put your hand in there, and the hand is sort of like this. So,
yes.
What do you have, answer?
Yeah, if you want it for the lights, I can give you a light.
Yes, it was mainly because of the lights.
Maybe taking off from the suit here.
Can anybody,
if they were manual stuff, that's probably.
Can anybody us wear the suits?
Well, there are. How am I going to put it? There are some, and I suppose yes, you can. It will take a little while for all of you to suit up, but I'm not going to object to that. That's fine.
Maybe we should have the flashlights on them working.
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, they are.
Okay.
They seem to have been on very minimal necessary charge, and so only after a little bit of fiddling it's pretty easy to turn them back on.
Then I would like to have one, so I have some sort of light source.
Right. Okay.
Just out of curiosity, how far away are you now?
I don't waiting for anybody, so
That's
if you're
true.
stopping, I'm
That's
just
true.
going away.
The two of you are busy putting on all these clothes. Let's go and
I'm just trying to signal to him. Wait.
No, I think no more.
Exactly. Failed is refocused, so there you are.
Okay, then I'm not gonna put the suit on.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, you're busy. Oh, I want to wear one of these. Oh, God, there we go. Yeah. Okay.
I want to group together.
Excellent. Okay, so there's you will be the last one then, as you walking with the.
Well, while I'm giving the flashlight or whatever, maybe I can just we should figure out if this is the facility we were supposed to go or because we have a expert who knows things here.
This is the right place, but I can't say with certainty if things are where they should be. So I think we should be careful, far more careful.
Are we seeing bodies?
That's an excellent question.
Like the last time?
That is an excellent question. There are, how much looking around do you plan to do? This is a very large area. At the moment, you are very much focused on running after our technician. So I would like to know how much scanning about you plan to do.
I think I'm scanning pretty much because I'm trying to see if there's any danger around.
That therefore will call for a roll. Very definitely a roll, which in this case has to be cleverness.
Oh, I wasn't clever, boy. Was I? There's cleverness. No, I'm not that clever.
Which is good.
Apparently I'm clever.
You are quite good.
I have 5, so it's a 4.
That is excellent.
Yes, and I did not have it prior or anything, so.
Right. And let me do a quick, just what you needed.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm also going to look at this fellow here and see how he does as well. And I, instead of clattering on the table, Max, am going to do that. And I actually, unfortunately, just miss it. So that's too bad.
Given how nervous I am, may I try my own cleverness? Because I'm still not sure where I want to run.
let's
the
get an
soldiers
idea.
are signaling
Mhm.
they need to take care of their weapons. If they
Right.
say recharge, I think power outlet. I'm not an expert, so
Mhm.
so I think energy source, which should be in the same direction. Somebody is running like crazy.
Right.
But
So-
I'm not really feeling like running, and I would never keep up with everybody else if I need to, given my prior experience. So I want to know if there is any spot here where I maybe can just wait for everybody.
Okay. That was a pretty dense set of things to be clever about. So I'm going to try to pull out the part that I think was the most important. You're saying that you are looking for a reasonably sheltered spot.
Yes.
I see. Okay.
I mean, I can tell everybody where things are, even
Yes, that's true. That's true if you
over
maintain.
distance.
Right.
So maybe the best thing is I
Well,
stay
there-
put here.
There are a couple of possibilities. There are those stacked and wedged placed containers that I suppose you could close yourself into. And then
How
just
close is that?
that's these over here in this corner.
I mean, like, if I close the door, can I still? I mean, I can keep it open as long as it's safe, and I can close it if there is any danger.
Mhm.
But how long can I stay in there conscious if I close it?
Well, okay. We are not really talking about airtight, hermetic, sealed.
I guess I figured that
some,
out.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. Some of them are, some of them are not. Okay, so some things are very tightly sealed, some are not. But if you are talking about something, otherwise it's a lot of open space. It's not really, I mean, it's even, if you look, it's actually bigger than the cavern the open cavern with the bats. So there's a lot of open space here. You cannot see into the details of the ceilings and corners very well. Although looking up, if you do see some things, you can see that there are ladders and some catwalks and things like that. This whole space was used at some time. There may actually be instrumentation up there or processing places to do further work up and about. So let's clarify. What you are looking for is somewhere where you think you can hide without suffocating.
Yes.
Roll 2 dice.
What do I roll for if I'm smart? No, I'm not.
No, you goodness. Okay, so the issue here is that I am sorry to say that you find what looks to be a perfect place to hide. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can see how this is going to go. Right, we'll just leave you there for a moment. Okay, so
we know she hid there.
That's.
I'm
not so
you don't sense anything anymore.
Well, yes, that's an interesting point. Okay, so
How is it like broadcasting? Because if we know, like, could it be spotted? Okay, now this is really stupid. Like, this is no space for you
She
to
was
hide.
looking for a space where not to suffocate. I mean, like,
Yeah.
everything else was not really a priority, you know, like
Mhm.
acid, fire.
green slimes,
I see we are
wandering
on board.
red dragons, who knows? So what the big question right now is who would notice. Because of your telepathic hookup, it means you can talk to each other at will. It doesn't really mean you have a mind scan on everybody's location or direct experience of what they are doing. That would require either telepathy rolls or some of those other more specialized roles that are about placement of things, right? So at the moment, she just happens not to be saying very much.
Okay. Well, let's say if there's a situation, like if you want to broadcast, like
Yeah.
what you see, like what would it be?
Okay. First of all, for telepathy, in ordinary just talking,
Yeah.
requires no roll among you. So therefore, you can simply say, "Hey, look out over here," or "Here is something," or a very simple picture maybe just of exactly what you are looking at. That's all real easy. Any kind of actual information or context for it, that's a telepathy roll, not a very hard one. And then after that, things get either more deep telepathy, or we look in back and try to educate ourselves on all those different psionic, very nuanced psionic powers that you all have. So that are very difficult to memorize for some reason.
Yeah, some of them are really close. Like, what is the difference? I don't understand.
Maybe we should start whiteboarding some of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so therefore, you can tell me just exactly what you do, I suppose, or unless you want me to say.
Unless there is something I would perceive as danger, I'm probably going to keep the opening open.
Right.
But I will close it very fast if there's anything that makes me uncomfortable.
Perfect.
Let me put it
So
that way.
you hop in, and it's I would say maybe one of the reasons this was so attractive was because it's not physically too different in size from the alcove where you would have lain as an archivist. Right?
It's cozy.
So I mean, archivists just like lie there all the time anyway, and so this is kind of the look, I could lie down there. That's seems normal. Okay, so in you go, and the others. Therefore, it's a question of whether you, speaking as a player, think your character is being visually alert enough, and I suspect that you are more focused on what is ahead.
If she just said she walked away, then I'm not going to look for her. I'm going to look for danger.
That's what I thought.
I'm gone.
Whereas the other soldier, 34, 39, 100, is bringing up the back. So he would probably be the one to see one of you go over there, unless he is too interested in the shadows. He's kind of learned his lesson about, things that come from above. So, therefore, however, the magnificent roll, were he to have a focus ability, is not successful in this case.
So
this is you. So, okay. Therefore, when you have come up to this area here, here we have some portals, and they are original. They are the doors, and they are fairly, I would say, fairly technological looking.
Perfect.
Yeah. But they're not really, this is interesting. The hive definitely has not evolved into the same kind of door opening procedures.
Okay.
I mean, that this ship has. They are doors.
We have
How
to
do
hide
they
them.
work? Yeah, how do they work? This is yeah. how are we doing this? And because really, in many ways, I mean, probably a lot of the time, the nearest drone would just open a door for you when you went somewhere, or there was some technological device that you knew exactly how it worked.
Yeah.
And as a technician, and here you're kind of going, now, how did they build this? How did this work?
Okay.
So this becomes clearly a question of mechanics.
Sure.
For a 18.
I have 8, so 2 degrees of research.
Yes, that's not a problem. Well, there's a lot to learn about this.
Yeah.
First of all,
I didn't break it.
no, you didn't break it for once, which is great. And so clearly, you can see actually that there are features of the mechanics you are familiar with in the hive, which are clearly derived from this. This is an ancestral, somewhat inefficient.
I have found a missing link.
Yeah, so in many ways, you're like, this is like beehive work. They clearly relied on certain technologies that you don't bother with to do this. There's some sort of identifier, or there's some sort of panel, but that's easy. You can simply strip it out and say, well, we don't need those wires anyway, and make this work, right? So I mean, and obviously it should look like this.
Okay.
So getting it open, I mean, to the others, it may appear a very baffling object to everybody else, and to you, you're like, oh. And with that degree of success, you don't even have to force anything or work, shatter anything or anything like that. It actually, you can get to the point where it actually hums and opens.
Okay. And then there's a dragon behind it.
Well, in this case, you are looking down a much narrower passage with lots of little chambers off it. You are aware, if you are thinking about food, that's that way to the left over there. And the smell is very different. That was very open air, and nature had entered and also had been used for heavy machinery and things like that. This is very different. It smells more like people might live here.
Like alive or dead?
Live.
And in fact, there is.
Is there light?
Actually, to get this with that degree of success, I'm going to say that the lights come on.
Ooh.
Yeah, with that degree of success of activating everything, you were like, you just made this
Perfect.
If you want to walk into the room should be lit up, and with that degree of success, it's all the way down. So yes, it has, and in fact, it is. It's not looking very used, but it's clean.
I'm grabbing you. I'm grabbing you. You want to make a strength check?
No, I was thinking about the refocus. No, I'm not going to fight.
Okay, so yeah, but I do see that it's almost like your legs keep scruffs you. Yes, so
Hey, go.
And so at the moment there are no individuals in this region that you can see, but it does also look as though there has been some disarray, some disordering. There are at least there's actually, interestingly, there is some weaponry scattered on the floor. Another one of those pistol things, and actually, trying to think about, there's some equipment and some weaponry, including an unusual looking knife that to you seems very unsuited for combat, even if it is kind of big. So,
but there are no bodies around.
Here you see no bodies.
Still a little bit strange. Or there's some. I'm like, you're staying here.
I'm looking now. Hannah, what are you doing? Just to make sure I get all three of you,
Yeah, I guess I'm following, like, okay, what's the door? Okay, it opened, now there's light, magically, and some stuff. I'm thinking that this place isn't, like, this is weird. Like, why did they leave these, like, lying around? There isn't any blood, no? If there isn't bodies, no blood either.
Well, you are being quite thoughtful about this, aren't you? So at this point, you realize that this was the site of some kind of a fight.